Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about your style and how it kind of evolves and changes. And I'm going to show you some things that are from my own process, my own past, how my artwork has changed and evolved over the years. Some of these are not very good. I thought they were good when I painted them, but I just thought this would be maybe encouraging and helpful to you to see where I've been and some progress along the way, and then what I'm creating now. So my style has changed, the way that I paint has changed, and it's going to continue to change and evolve, and that's just the way that it works. So let's just look at some of the things that I've got out here for you to see. Okay, so we're going to begin with 2012. That is when I first started trying to paint things just to see what I could do. And we're going to begin with roses. I've got a whole little timeline of roses from, I don't know how far back this first one goes. It's probably about 2012. And then one that I just painted just a few weeks ago. Okay, so we're going to start here. This was how I painted roses. And I don't remember, I know I did this with a brush. I know it's done with acrylics. I don't remember anything about where I came up with. I know that I was watching something on YouTube or something, and I was trying to get this flower thing going here. But this was what I came up with, and this was one of my first rose paintings. This is not what I wanted to paint, but it's what I did paint, and it is what it is. So this is the beginning. Okay, then I tried playing around with some watercolors, and I did try to stick with it for a while, but watercolor is just not my thing. And so this is, I will say this is a little better, but it's still not what I wanted to paint. And that's what I want to stress here. This evolution of where I began and where I am now is not about this art was bad and this art is good. It's more about this was what I started out painting, but this is not what I wanted to paint. And I've gotten to a point where now when I sit down to paint something or stand up, whatever, I do paint what I want to paint. And that's what I want to encourage you, so that you don't stop. If I just quit here, then I would never have moved on from this rose. Okay, so then I tried some watercolor. Then I would say, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years into it, I started playing with the palette knife and acrylics, and this is what happened. These were my roses with my palette knife, and while it's not wonderful, it's not terrible, but it is much different from this and much different from this. Okay, so I'm loosening up. I'm beginning to learn how to use value. I've got some darks in there now and some lights, so that's a good thing. And then we're going to jump way ahead to about, I don't know, 2020, 2021. And this was how I painted roses. Much more structure, still acrylic paint. I did not use a palette knife in this at all, but I really like this painting. It's one of my favorites. And then here are my roses that I just recently did. And so there's some palette knife work in here as well as loose brush work. So to go full circle, I started with this, and now I'm happy that I can do this. Let's look at another subject. These were the roses that I picked out. Landscapes were really the very first thing that I ever tried to paint. And this right here is a very good example of my silhouette paintings that I did in the very beginning. I did a lot of these. A lot of different trees, a lot of different backgrounds, and trees were kind of my thing. But it was okay, and I liked it while I was doing it, but it still wasn't what I wanted to do. And here's one of the landscapes that I've recently done with some trees. This is also acrylic paint, but it looks totally different style. So this was my style in probably 2012 or 13, and this is 2023. All right, let's take a look at another one. Portraits. This one is going to be, I would say, the most embarrassing for me to show you, but I have no idea what year this was. I don't think I dated anything, but it was probably about 2018, maybe 17, 18. But I had some ideas. I knew I wanted to do a girl with some flowers around her. I wanted to be whimsical. I tried to do a bird up here, and I think this is all oil pastel. I don't know what this is, but anyway, this was then and this is now. So I hope that these are encouraging you to keep going, because like I said, if I'd stopped here, this would be all that I would still know how to do. But I had to keep trying and keep doing and end up with something that I liked much, much better. Okay, one more. We're gonna look at an animal. This was supposed to be a llama. He's not terrible, but he looks more like a dog, probably. I don't know. But I tried to do it with a palette knife, and it just didn't work out the way that I had hoped. So that was back probably in 2017-ish. And then this one is a much happier version of a llama or an alpaca that I just did this past year. So that's that comparison. And the reason why I want to show you all this, like I said, is not to embarrass myself, but it kind of does, but to show you that if you continue to practice and continue to paint, your style is going to change and evolve, and you're going to get better at whatever it is that you want to paint, whether you are taking classes or if you are just practicing on your own. It doesn't really matter. The more you paint, the more you're going to learn, and the more you try things and experiment, the better you're going to get at whatever it is that you want to do. I do think that without taking a few classes online or just watching other artists online, it would take a lot longer to get from one of these stages to the next. I mean, it's taken me over 10 years to get to where I am now, and I'm still learning things, and I'm still trying things, and I'm still evolving and changing the way that I paint. I don't think that you're ever going to get to a point where you stop learning as an artist, because then it would get boring. So that's another thing that I wanted to make sure that you understand, is that when you are looking for your style, it may not be that your style is something that you're going to keep forever, because you're going to continually learn things and try things and play with new ideas and play with colors and play with mark making and the way that you lay down your paint. And if you get to a point where you think, I've found this is the only style that I ever want to paint in, this is the only color scheme that I want to use, and I'm just going to paint these flowers from now on, you're just kind of going to get stagnant. You're going to get bored, and you're not going to continue to learn and grow. So don't get too caught up in the idea that you've got to find a style that is something that's almost mechanical, or something that you've got to repeat over and over again, because that's just not true. And I want to encourage you to keep learning and keep trying things and play with your supplies. You never know what you're going to be able to create until you try it. So I hope this was encouraging. I hope you had fun seeing my previous art of the past that I'm not ashamed of, but at the same time, it's not that great. But I hope this encouraged you and that you will continue to paint and try new things, and I will see you next time.